Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to a new show we're debuting here at Change the Questions. My name is Paul Laporte. Joining me is my partner in crime, Mike Miner.
Mike Miner, hey, how's it going, guys? What's going on?
And today we are going to be debuting a new show that we are going to call Time Warp. This is a Rocky Horror theme show.
Do we have the copyright for the music? Can we?
No, I don't think we can actually use Time Warp. No, we will get removed from YouTube.
Can we cite fair usage as our reasoning for using this music?
I don't.
Or anyway,
I don't think so. Okay, so the concept of this new show, and this was actually suggested to me by a friend of mine, Steve Moskal. Shout out, Steve.
Steve,
thank you for this idea because it is a cracker of an idea. So he suggested to me, you guys should do a show where you take a wrestler and like displace him from time and like put him in a different time period. Like taking a guy and saying, okay, here's this guy from the 70s, how would he do today? Here's this guy from today, how would he do in the 80s? How this guy from the 90s do in the 50s, whatever. So that's going to be the concept of the show. We're probably going to do this show like once a week, and it's going to be on one specific guy discussing how this guy would do in a different time. And here's the first episode. Okay. Breaking news from Wrestling Observer from an alternate reality. NXT has just signed a hot new superstar by the name of Ricky Steamboat. He is going to be showing up to the Performance Center and starting his training soon. They'll expect him to debut in NXT in the next couple of months. Then they're going to see how he does to go to the main roster from there. Ricky Steamboat, Mr. Miner, how do you think he would do in today's environment in WWE?
I heard that guy can go.
Yeah, I've heard good things about him on the independents.
As far as doing like a triple flip senton, he doesn't do that, but I heard he's very solid in the ring, very well versed all around. His strikes look convincing, his submissions look okay. He's got that double chicken wing, and his finish for a guy his size looks pretty great. He's got that cross body. So, yeah, I think he would do okay.
Yes. Now, okay.
Deep arm drags, too. Yeah, I've heard about those.
So, Ricky Steamboat, obviously known for in the 80s or early 90s. Yeah. He's known for being one of the best workers of his time. He was pioneering. People just did stuff. He did things that people would not do for another 5-10 years. His cardio was endless. He had legendary matches with Ric Flair, with Randy Savage, lots of different people.
Not to mention his ability to sell. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, absolutely.
He convinced you that he almost died from the shots that he took.
Yeah, absolutely. And this Ricky Steamboat was brought up to me by Steve, who gave us the concept for the show. He wanted this to be the first episode, so we're honoring his wishes. And he said, he's like, I don't think Ricky Steamboat would do that well today.
Really?
And that surprised me because I think more so now than in any other time, other than the time he was in, I think this is the perfect time for him. And here's why.
He'd probably be more of a top-tier player now than he was back then.
I would agree. He is excellent in the ring, obviously. And, even by today's standards, even if we don't assume that he updates his moveset based on present day, he's still really friggin' good. He still hangs with just about anybody at the top of the card. That, you have the fact that he was charismatic. He could get people behind him. He is as PG as you can get, practically. Never had any sort of controversy. He
could go.
Always a baby face.
His cardio was tremendous.
Yes. I think he is somebody who would do really well. I guess you could say the closest modern-day corollary to Ricky Steamboat that we have is Sami Zayn. In that perpetual baby face, is known for being a good guy.
Personality, yes. As far as the in-ring style goes,
no, it's really completely different. Yeah. But as far as the attitude, as far as the fan base getting behind him, I think he would do very well. I don't see any reason that he wouldn't, other than maybe, I don't know, is he a little too family-friendly? Does he not have that edge to him like Roman Reigns? Or he's not the lunatic fringe or whatever. Like, he's just like a clean-cut guy who wrestles well.
He doesn't need to be, but he wasn't like oh yeah, look, I'm the good guy, John Cena kind of good guy, but he's the kind of guy that would go out there and work. And
the thing is, like, would WWE try to get too complicated with him and screw him up? Is the question. And that's kind of always the question.
I think they got too complicated with him back in the 80s.
Right, but would they do the same thing with him now?
Would they do the same thing with him now?
Would they try and give him some ridiculous gimmick or something like that? Or would they just be like, hey, here's this guy, he's really good, let him go?
I don't know.
You know, I think that what my friend Steve...
Maybe they would change his name and that'd be it. Or something ridiculous like that. Or they...
He's Kane Willard or something stupid, some WWE name. I think what Steve might have meant by wouldn't do well today is maybe he kind of fades into the background. He kind of becomes what Dolph Ziggler is or whoever.
Coleship.
Yeah, there you go. Where he doesn't. He'll be a good, but he won't be great. Maybe that's what he means. I mean, where does he fit? Like, imagine, where do you think would be the best place to fit Ricky Steamboat into in the modern day?
I think just below the main event.
Upper mid card.
Just below the main event. And he keeps working and working until he eventually breaks through. You know, he goes and he eventually wins that championship at a WrestleMania. Something like that. I think he was completely capable of doing that. And you know what? We can go back, and I've mentioned this before, we can go back about 6-7 years ago when he was in the ring. And I didn't think it was possible. I don't think anybody thought it was possible. He was able to go then. And he was in his, 50s?
Yeah, so longevity that proves that this guy could have, that he will have a long career, which is obviously good.
I think it was his neck that went, right?
He had neck problems.
And then his career kind of went after that. And if that didn't happen, if he was displaced and he was brought into this time, I think it would work really well.
So the problem with moving him up to the main card, though, is that he is clean-cut babyface. Who does he feud with at the top of the card? Like mid-card, it's easier a little bit. You have Kevin Owens. You have Kevin Owens. I guess there just isn't a lot of heels in general. You have the League of Nations. You have Rusev, Alberto Del Rio. You have people. Good wrestlers, Sheamus, King Barrett. I guess you could have him feud with Sheamus at the top of the card too. But who's the money feud for Ricky Steamboat? Like, who's the best? Who's the best? Who's the Flair to his Steamboat?
I don't know.
That's the question. I mean, that's an issue that WWE has in general of just building up heels.
I think there's just such a disconnect between the lower card and the main event. I guess because. True. I don't know, maybe not a Rusev, but I think Owens would work. I love Owens.
Brock
no matter
Lesnar?
What he does. I mean, it's just one of those things where I'm trying to
Ricky
think.
Steamboat and Brock Lesnar would have a crazy match.
Yeah, imagine the welts that Steamboat would leave on Lesnar's chest with those chops.
Yeah, imagine Brock Lesnar chucking him around the ring. God, yeah, that would be a crazy match. That would be interesting. Seth Rollins and Steamboat.
Oh, I'd love to see Seth Rollins and Steamboat.
That'd be something.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Even I'd be okay with even Steamboat and Randy Orton for some weird reason. I think that could work on an old school kind of level.
Yeah, I could see that too.
And I'm not much in the way for Randy Orton's ring style or anything. It's just not my thing. That's okay for whoever's it is, but I guess they could work together. It's kind of hard because. Do you let him talk on his own? Do you put him with somebody? Do you put him in a stable? What do you think? I think he could talk fine. He could get over with the crowd on his own, and he was able to do so back then. I think he'd be able to connect now.
You don't think he's too clean cut for audiences?
I don't think he's too clean cut. I think, if anything, he's a guy that will fight to get what he wants and what he deserves,
It's funny though because I could see this. I think one of two things happens with him.
He never really pandered though. The only time I could see him really pandering back in the day was when he brought his family onto television. He was one of those guys that you could try to relate to in opposition to Ric Flair. But Flair was the guy with the gold and the cars and the limousines and planes. And
Steamboat was the everyman.
And Steamboat was the everyman that had the family on television say, "Here's my family. I'm doing this for my family." But that's as far as he pandered. But when he got serious and he really got into it, he was a guy that wasn't to be messed with.
Yeah, but I can definitely see the point of saying he's either going to do really well in WWE in the main card and hit that top tier, or he could be one of those guys who does super well in NXT and then flames out at the main roster because he doesn't have like whatever specific look or
that
whatever
happens
specific.
Way too often, unfortunately.
Or they just don't know what to do with the guy and don't just
Breeze.
have the have the faith to just kind of let him do his thing. I could see that kind of happening too.
Poor Kevin Owens. Hey, at least they're getting paid well, so that's the best I can say.
Well, Kevin Owens, I mean, he's in a secondary title feud. That's fine.
Bad.
You know?
I mean, he's doing well. But the thing with Steamboat is, I think he could hold his own. I think if anything,
I guess Daniel Bryan would be another good corollary to Steamboat, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Underdog.
For some reason, I didn't think about that, probably because he's been gone for so long. It's hard.
Yeah, underdog wrestler.
I can't believe that. He's one of my favorites.
Every man that the fans get behind. I can see that, especially...
That would have been a fantastic match.
Oh, yeah, for sure. If Daniel Bryan doesn't end up coming back, then I think Steamboat would obviously have been a good person to kind of fill that spot. So... I don't know. I think, like I said, I think he would do well. I think he's going to do well regardless of the time period he's in because he just has certain things with him that are timeless. He's just a really incredibly good hand in the ring. He's good on the mic. He's good at making his opponents look good.
He makes the simplest moves
look
incredible.
Yeah,
those deep arm drags, those
not only that,
look like he makes blister your chest.
He makes the simplest moves look devastating, but he looks very difficult. He makes very difficult moves look easy too.
Yeah.
So I think all of those things combined, I think Ricky Steamboat does just fine in the modern day. Granted, WWE doesn't screw him up, but I think that's just going to be the asterisk for all of these. I think that I honestly do think that he would hit main event level. What do you think?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't even have to... I know so.
All right.
I know he would.
So that's what we think. We're going to go ahead and wrap this episode up. We'd like to hear what you guys think. Be sure to leave us some feedback. changingthequestions@gmail.com. You can also check us out on Twitter at changingtheqs, which is at changingtheqs. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're checking us out on YouTube. If you're listening on iTunes, leave us a nice 5-star review. Say a couple of nice words about us. That's going to wrap it up for us. Let us know what you thought of this episode. Let us know if you would like us to cover any other different wrestlers in different time periods. And...
George Hackenschmidt. Yes. No. You know what? I've got an idea for the next one. I'm throwing it out here right now. Big Show in the 60s and 70s.
Okay. All right. We'll
do that one next, I think.
All right. We'll do that one next. But if you have any other suggestions, preferably nothing in the future. How would Hulk Hogan do in the year 2245?
Here's one for you. How about Harley Race in the modern day?
Okay.
Maybe we'll do that one.
See, we're giving ourselves episodes. Give us suggestions.
Please give us suggestions. We want your suggestions.
We want your suggestions as well. But we're going to definitely continue this on. We're going to be probably, like I said, doing this weekly. I'm not sure on what day. Presumably on the day you're listening to this is the day that we are going to be doing this once a week. So we hope you guys enjoy it. And we will see you soon for another episode of Time War.
Frank Gotch?
Take care.
All right. Bye, guys.